I unfortunately missed this game live, so I was playing for some other tournament. But definitely wanted to catch this game on my channel because it's one of the best black white games in the tournament potentially. I mean, two of the top ranked players in the tier, nevertheless. So you have high expectations coming in, and you have SoulWind and Ojama, of course, two household names, people who have made it very far in individual tournaments and had great success in team tournaments. Both these guys, I have a ton of respect for as players. Ojama is more of an innovation oriented player right now. I think he's trying to prove to people that he can make different things work in black white as opposed to the norm, and I respect that initiative. I hope that we could see some cooler stuff from him. Whereas SoulWind's just a naturally versatile player, and I feel like that's the root of a lot of his success. And both of these things perhaps will show a bit from these teams. Ojama, also known as AKA Black in this game rather, is using a bit more of an offensive rain build. Spinner being Starmie usually indicates a bit more of an offensive approach as opposed to tentacle approach to get balance, but there's still a lot of room to toy around with the team. Regardless, anyway, he's has a nice pick here in Mamoswine. It actually does look pretty threatening against his opponent. Mamoswine Rain has been used sporadically historically as a nice matchup against opposing offensive rain, as Ice Shard's just ridiculously threatening, and also some sand teams just struggle to deal with it. So Mamoswine's a nice pick here. It actually does pretty well against this as well, punishing things. Of course, he's got the classic Ferrothorn, can't really go wrong there. Paired with the combination of Politoed and Keldeo, setting up rain, and then Scarf Keldeo likely trying to clean. And then finally, cleaning the game out would be cleaning the team out, and potentially cleaning games up would be Thunderous. Seems more likely than not to be Agility. There's no toxic spikes, and it's not really a balanced team, so Agility makes more sense than Substitute, although it could be a number of things, really. Thunderous is not a linear Pokemon. It's pretty versatile. So anyway, I'm going to SoulWind's team. A bit more of a blunt offensive weatherless approach. The first thing that stands out to me is Nicholas. It seems more likely than not to be a Trick Room variant, which makes a lot of sense with combination of Latios and Mamoswine kind of setting up for it offensively earlier on in the games. So that's probably the win condition, and against this team, it actually looks like it has a phenomenal matchup. Look at the remainder of the team. If I had to guess, it was Scarf Jirachi. No, the Rocks Jirachi and Scarf Garchomp, but it could be the other way around in theory, as Scarf Jirachi would give him Healing Wish, which could help with a number of things, especially if it's like OTR Nicholas giving it 2 chances against a team like this if it misses a Focus Blast, for example. Also, OTR Jirachi plus Swords Dance, Stealth Rock Garchomp is a pretty nasty combination when paired with Magnezone. So yeah, either or could definitely be seen there. But Latios is definitely specs, probably Sleep Talk as well on this team, just because there's no other real Sleep Absorber. And Mamoswine, last but not least, would be probably the 4 attack variant, which variable with sub 3 attacks. Ice Shard, Ice School Crash, and Earthquake are locks. I don't think it's a Stealth Rocker in this team. Anyway, looking at matchup, I think that SoulWind is a decent matchup, if not favorable, because offensive Trick Room Nicholas mows through, wants just some chip on Politoed, and if you hit a Focus Blast on Ferrothorn, those are 2 noteworthy conditions, of course. But yeah, that in itself is a good matchup. And then also the Mamoswine being able to kind of revenge kill / keep inject the Thunderous is nice. Ojama does have his ways of breaking through, however, as SoulWind's team is pretty ill-equipped for offensive rain defensively. Rather, it tries to win the game more by beating it with Nicholas as opposed to checking its threats, as Latios oftentimes will get overloaded by the combination of Keldeo and Starmie. So yeah, there are definitely ways for Ojama to win, but it's more trying to prevent his own way of losing to the Nicholas. So right off the bat, if I had to look at leads for Ojama, I would say there are 3 potential leads. One would be the Mamoswine, just because it does well against Garchomp, and a couple other things. Ice Shard in general is just really threatening, and I think you kind of expect Garchomp lead from SoulWind here just to get rocks up. Although Latios is a decent lead as well from him, honestly. So maybe that's not the best. Unless your choice banded Mamoswine, then you're not killing it with Ice Shard, and then you're dying. So perhaps that's not the best. Anyway, the other 2 would be Ferrothorn and Politoed. Ferrothorn just to get hazards up early because there's no removal on SoulWind's team, and given that this game is kind of a kill-for-kill type of game, you don't really need the defensive presence as much. You just want the hazards to try and enable that sequence to favor you more so. And then Politoed just as that rain up would also be a fine lead. Looking at SoulWind's team, though, I think there's kind of a bit more anonymity in this sense. I mean, a couple things could lead. It could be Garchomp just to get him up, or it could be Jirachi if that was the Stealth Rocker. And it could be Latios just that matches up well, and there's a mind game with Ferrothorn, although... and unfortunately, I've already seen part of this game. I saw like the first couple turns before my game started, but unfortunately, the Ferrothorn doesn't really fear the Magnezone with rain up, because then it could get 2 layers. And even initially, if it's not specs back zone, and all of them are almost sunny day, and this team is definitely sunny day, it's weatherless. I feel as if the presence of Magnezone shouldn't really deter the Ferrothorn from just stacking up hazards, because that's a worthwhile trade, because you get at least Stealth Rocket Spike up 1 layer of each, but on top of that, B, you also then get to revenge kill the Magnezone or get momentum from whatever else comes in. So that's a favorable trade if you're Ojama. So even if you lose your Ferrothorn, it's still a favorable trade. And I think that we're going to hopefully see that here. Anyway, so we're going to see Latios in the Ferrothorn lead. Yeah, so again, as I said, you already see the Dragon Pulse. If I am Ojama, I just click Stealth Rock here. There's no reason not to click Stealth Rock here. Assuming he has. It could be Stealth Rock Mammoth's fine. But I think that's more likely than not still has a Ferrothorn. But yeah, I just set him up, and he does just that. As SoulWind Dragon Pulse just bounces off, I really feel like SoulWind should have just went Magnezone here. It's the best you can do from this lead matchup, assuming his Latios is a trick. And it's not trick, because it has to be Sleep Talk on this team. There's just no other Sleep Absorber. So yeah, I wasn't fond of that Dragon Pulse. And then, I mean, I guess you can give him credit for being persistent, consistent, whatever you want to call it. But he stays in and he Dragon Pulses once more. And he does it again, and he just lets all the hazards up. Now, that doesn't impact Rio Nicholas, so it's something, but can't say I'm too fond of it. Anyway, he lets both layers, 2 layers up and 1 rock up, and he gets leeched. And then he switches to Magnezone. And on this turn, Ojama makes a really, really nice play. I'm not above and beyond, really. See, I think most people, including myself, would have just set up the 3rd layer of spikes. But he's like, okay, I can preserve this still. I have such a lead already that I might as well be a bit more conservative. I can let this take a Draco or an Outrage, or maybe even switch to a Psychic to waste his Trick Room turn. So this would be really nice to kind of give myself a better chance and maybe a not so ideal match against a Rio Nicholas. And he does that, and he switches. And this time, someone goes to Magnezone, and this is just a phenomenal play by the Ojama side. Now, unfortunately, the Politoed is switched out, because Thunderbolt could kill it, and he wants to preserve it for Sunny Day. But the Thundurus comes on in here. Now, Thundurus naturally baits in the Latios, says nothing can kill it. Thunder does not crit or para, leaving the Latios 47% in unstatus. Draco's going to come on in here, and it's going to crit through the Ferrothorn, which kind of sucks. A couple of reasons. One, you're not killing, you're leaving the Ferrothorn at a decent health. But 2, Ferrothorn lives, you can just switch out -2 Draco. Probably isn't going to do enough to the Politoed. So, I mean, that would be a fine play. Or you at least get up -4, so then pretty much anything can come in safely. But yeah, no, that's unfortunate for Ojama. Mammoth Fine's going to at least come in here for the revenge kill. But it's going to also be crit, which, yeah, at this point, this is just real bullshit for Ojama. It's at -4, though, so at least you don't really need to Ice Beam. And he gets this play correct. He scalds into the Mammoth Fine, so that's something. When Nicholas comes in here, though, since it's called, I think he thought it was defensive, and in fact, it could very well be defensive on this team, given that Thunder damage and the lack of Life Orb. But anyway, it's just going to Trick Room up. Shadow Ball's going to do 86. Thunder once more. No paralysis, because Ojama has absolutely no chance of getting a break in this game, apparently. Anyway, Psychic's going to take it out, putting the game at 5-3 favor of SoulWind. Protect here to burn another Trick Room turn. And then we'll see Psychic, I believe. Yeah, just doing like a bit over half. Yep, to the Politoed. Is the Politoed revealed? Oh, it doesn't even kill with Scald. But now it can threaten to kill it. Politoed is leftovers defensive. Magnezone's going to come in here on Scald. All right. So here's an important turn. You know it's defensive, so your Magnezone's faster. So I'm pretty sure if you click Sunny Day, then the Politoed always can't kill the Scald. And that also covers Thundurus, as then Thunder can't hit something like Jirachi. Rio Nicholas is an ice. So you're really just Jirachi, because you're using other moves against everything else. But it's down to 50% accuracy. So I think Sunny Day is just a pretty clear play here, because you can't really do much else to threaten things. And he's going to... I don't really agree with it. I'm going for Protect here. I feel like I would have went hard Thundurus. But I understand it. It's kind of a conservative play. Didn't want to fuck around with some Toxic on this or whatever. That's fair enough. I can't really call it a misplay. But anyway, Hidden Power is going to come in doing 44. Focus Blast is going to come and take it out. Now, Latios is into Revenge Kill this. Politoed is going to be fired off. But that is plenty fine for Ojama, as now the Keldeo has a chance to just win the game. Thing is, I don't know why he Hydro Pumps here. Because Surf definitely kills the Latios in Rain, but does it kill the Jirachi? I'm not quite sure. I would have to do the calcs. I wasn't on Smog Torch in the game, so I was in another game. So maybe he wasn't Surf. Maybe he was. I don't know. But anyway, he's got to hit 4 Hydro Pumps now, pretty much, to win the game. And then it turns out that this Jirachi is like really special defensive with Healing Wish, and it turns out that Scald actually, Surf or Scald, whatever it was, probably Surf, wouldn't have made a difference because that it doesn't kill either way, and Healing Wish saves the day. And so SoulWind is luckily going to be bailed out. Yeah, I mean, neither Hydro Pump or Surf, so you can't blame Ojama for that at all. And then Three Nicholas is just going to clean the game out, I believe. Oh, yeah, this should kill Thunderous. Yeah, so SoulWind's going to squeak away with a 2-0 victory. I think he should have won this matchup with Three Nicholas plus Healing Wish if played like well anyway, but I think that he kind of gave stuff away earlier on in the game, and then he got bailed out. So just an unfortunate result overall. Would have loved to see what it would have been a clean game. I think it could have been close. Anyway, Ojama played a nice game here. Got to give him credit for that. I really like both the teams though, so good stuff from two really solid players. Unfortunately, the better player probably didn't walk away on top, but aside from the opening sequence, I don't think SoulWind played poorly either. I think he actually made some nice moves later on. So yeah, but unfortunate for Ojama and the Scooters, but thankfully for them, they've won the week anyway, and I'm just love seeing some high-level black-white games, even if it's riddled with some unfortunate stuff. So yeah, good game.